Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hammond Redevelopment Commission meeting. I'd like to call it to order now on this Tuesday, March 7th. Can you please stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence after? Mr. Myers, can you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Commissioner, as always. Cynthia, can we get a roll call?
Talmadge.
Here.
Soto Presley.
Here.
Garay.
Here.
Myricks.
Here.
Poppridge.
Here, for the record, we have all 5 present. Okay, number 3 is declaration of conflict of interest. Okay. Number 4 is communications.
We did receive one letter dated March 1st from Mr. Juan M. Sanchez, who's interested in the vacant lot next to his property at 4729 Sheffield.
Okay, no action needed, just for the record, then we did receive it, and staff will look this over. Might see it at a future meeting. All right, thank you, Cynthia. Number 5 is acceptance of requests for proposals for Memorial Park Development Project.
No proposals were received.
Okay. All right, brings us to number 6. We have a public hearing on the proposed use of home ARP funds. I will open that up now. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is open. If anybody would like to come forward and speak on this, you may do so.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Elena Luna Magallanes, Hammond resident, as well as I sit on the Mayor's Commission of Disabilities here for the City of Hammond. Just looking to give my feedback on the different options that were presented for the distribution of funds for the Home ARP program. I believe that with my community involvement and speaking with different stakeholders within the community, the city would really benefit from programming that helps with the housing stability of those with disabilities, as well as support for those with autism, and linking them with community resources here, especially in the City of Hammond. Really looking to not duplicate services, but work in collaboration with other funding opportunities that already exist within the city. That's really it.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
input.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kathleen Camarena, and I'm a property owner in Hammond, Indiana. And I just learned about this meeting today, so I would like to get a contact of somebody who I can speak with about the home ARP funds and what is the criteria for qualification.
Okay. We can have someone talk briefly to you maybe after the meeting.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Kozlowski. I live in 4137 Toll in Hammond. I'm also a conference president for the St. Vincent de Paul Society. We run a food pantry out of our church, and there are 4 St. Vincent de Paul groups in the city of Hammond. And one of the things that I was kind of looking for information on was, I see your list of people that you guys have reached out to kind of assess the needs of the homeless and also of the people with rental assistance. And there were a couple people that I see missing off of them. One was like Salvation Army. I noticed works with people in our area in terms of helping out with rental assistance, as well as Catholic Charities over in East Chicago does work with Hammond. And I know the St. Vincent de Paul Society, I'm only one of 22 conferences in the Gary Diocese, but they help out with rental assistance. And I was just wondering how you guys assess or go about assessing the needs and what has been spent in the past, or what has been given to people in the past for help, without a couple of big players in the St. Vincent de Paul Society overall in the Gary Diocese, which is bigger than Hammond, and I mean, it covers like 4 counties, I believe, gave out over $225,000 in rental assistance last year. I believe Hammond, I talked to the treasurer of the society last night, and in Hammond, it was over $20,000 worth of assistance that they gave out. So I didn't know who I could talk to, who might need that information, but I think it's kind of vital information for you guys to have to assess what the true needs of our area are of Hammond is. Thank you.
Yeah, our director's here. She's actually sitting behind you, and her name's Awana Miller of that program. But I appreciate your words. I'm very familiar with your St. Paul Society. I donate that. I'm a Catholic, so I do donate to. Okay, public, anybody else? Please come forward.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Denise Donahue. I'm a lifelong resident of Hammond, and I represent the Gatehouse Hammond Sober Living for Women. We've been in Hammond now for a year and a half. We're a nonprofit. We did apply for the grant, and we were not selected. I'm coming here to tell you that we have 17 women in our 3 houses. I work on a volunteer basis as long as my director. We are both have been in recovery many years, and we work with 17 girls. We have 3 properties. We went to the mayor of Hammond a year and a half ago and asked him for help. And he referred us to Awana Miller, and we filled out the paperwork. And I was kind of surprised when we weren't selected. We have women who are having chemo treatments right now. These are alcoholics and drug addict women who have taken off the street, who were homeless, who are now sober and in recovery. We have a young lady who just had a baby in the courthouse right now. We have women that have really a lot of needs. We also work with Judge Sasha, and she asked us to take her women for the new drug courts. But Hammond is not helping us. And we have no federal money or no state money that we're receiving. We're doing this all on our own through any volunteers, any contributions we can collect, any fundraisers. But we really need help from the city of Hammond. We have 17 women. We're using our own vehicles, our own gas, and we've been at this for a year and a half. And we did apply to the casino thing, and we did get something from them, thank goodness. But we cannot continue to take 17 girls to probation, to court, feed them. We get them jobs, and we get them back and forth to jobs, and that's a huge part of sober living, and most sober living doesn't do that. But we have a pretty good model and a pretty good record. And these girls are getting their children back. They're getting their own places after 6 months or a year. But we need help from the city of Hammond. Sorry, that's my card. But at the end of the day, it's very difficult. And I'm kind of just here to plead with this group that we really need help from Hammond. I don't know where else to go. We've been to Legacy Foundation and try to do what we can through them. And we're just really new at this. And I know you only have so many dollars to go around, but these are Hammond women, 17 of them that need someplace to live. They pay $160 a week, and we can barely pay our bills. We have 3 properties. Ideally, we're trying to get 1 property, and that would save a whole lot of money. We wouldn't have 3 mortgages, 3 light bills, 3 telephone bills. But at this point, we need money from the city of Hammond to continue and to help Judge Sasha and her courts, because she would like to send us some girls, but it's hard, They come in with nothing. So we provide them with clothes, transportation, food, and we find them jobs and try to get them, to be a meaningful person in society again and get them clean and sober. So that's where we're here. That's why I'm here. And I'm asking you to reconsider. And it's Gatehouse Hammond. That's all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out and specifying your needs and your input.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else? Public hearing's still open. So we have Councilman Mark Kowinski from the 1st District.
Good afternoon. Mark Kalwinski, 1st District, City of Hammond. And I'm here to speak in favor of creating a housing for military veterans. As many of you know, there are, I believe, around 60,000 vets who sleep somewhere outside every night. Homeless, disabled veterans are in abundance in Lake County. And Lake County has done something with that. In Gary, a housing unit was created. About 70 units were built on one block of open land, one block east of Broadway. The 70-unit building was constructed several years ago in cooperation with the City of Gary, the VA, and other funding sources. I believe Safe Haven, which is an agency that operates in Chicago for homeless people. Last year, another approximately 70-unit facility was built by the City of Hobart behind the South Lake Mall off of Mississippi. It was constructed with the help of dollars from the VA, from Safe Haven, and I suspect some either property, land, or money was put into the mix by Hobart. Hammond has, according to census, about 4,600 veterans, military veterans that live in Hammond from the census. So Hammond has about 76,000 residents. 15% of those are Lake County's veterans. 6.2% of its, rather 6.2 of our residents are 6.2% of our veterans, our residents in Hammond are veterans, or 4,636. According to documents from the vet population of Hammond, approximately 6.8% live in poverty, which is at least 315 military vets. Hammond is the largest city in Lake County, and I have brought this to the attention of economic development and to the city administration in the past, that it's Hammond's turn to step up. The dollars that are being presented for use would be a good start in creating a facility for vets in Hammond. Safe Haven out of Chicago has reported to us, to people, that they are interested in partnering with Hammond to create veteran housing in Hammond. Besides providing housing for vets who are on this, who are either poverty-stricken, disabled, or homeless, when you partner with the VA has standards for all their housing and their buildings. They also provide clinical support within the facility so that VA social workers actually work with the vets within the facilities. The vets that are homeless and disabled also get a monthly disability check. So there's a guarantee of payment for the housing units. And besides all that, we're doing the right thing in helping veterans find housing. So I'm asking for consideration for Hammond to step up and provide support to military veterans by considering using these dollars to build something along the lines of a 70-unit facility, as Gary has done already and as Hobart has done. There's nothing here in our part of Lake County to house those kind of special men and women who served for us but now have nowhere to lay their heads at night. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Councilman. We can definitely appreciate that for our veterans. All right. Anybody else like to speak? Public hearing is still open. Okay, nobody seems to be online, so then I will close public hearing. Public hearing is closed now. Public hearing is closed. Okay, number 7 is approval of Nice Engineering for toll parking lot design services.
Good evening, Commission. You have in front of you a proposal from Nice Engineering for the proposed site plan, storm sewer water plan, and grading plan for a parking lot that's located in downtown Hammond at 417 Fayette Street. This is a parcel owned by the Redevelopment Commission, and we are working with the Bank Calumet redevelopment of the Bank Calumet building for housing. And we are entering into a long-term ground lease with them so they could secure designated parking for their upcoming residents in their building. And this is a first start in order to plan out that parking lot to maximize the parking we can get for the residents. Also a section for public parking for the Toll Theater and other businesses along Homan Avenue. And of course, with ADA and handicap appliant parking spots as well. And not to exceed $16,432.
Much needed space to be utilized. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if there's no further discussion or any questions, I make a motion for the approval of Nice Engineering for toll parking lot design services.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Myricks, seconded by Commissioner Soto Presley. If there's no further questions or discussion, then roll call, please.
Talmadge.
Yes.
Soto Presley.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Myricks.
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 8 is approval of resolution number 2023-1, a resolution of Hammond Redevelopment Commission approving the intergovernmental agreement and accepting conveyance of real estate from the City of Hammond Department of Parks and Recreation to the Hammond Redevelopment Commission.
Members of the Commission, this resolution approving the intergovernmental agreement and accepting the conveyance is the parcels that make up Clark Fields. So right now, it's in title to the Hammond Parks and Recreation. You'll see that they've already approved a resolution, a mirror resolution, and the intergovernmental, and I think they've even signed the deed, assuming that you are going to accept the conveyance. The idea is that upon accepting the conveyance, that this property will then be subdivided into residential lots. Those lots will be sold similar to how we sold the lots on Deedlow Parkway in an auction type of scenario. But this is the first step in moving towards residential in that area.
Mr. President,
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the resolution number 2023-1, a resolution of the Hammond Redevelopment Commission approving the intergovernmental agreement and accepting conveyance of real estate from the City of Hammond Department of Parks and Recreation to the Hammond Redevelopment Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Tolman, seconded by Commissioner Gray. If there's no further questions or discussion on the motion, roll call, please.
Talmadge.
Yes.
Soto Presley.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Myrick.
Yes.
Hopridge.
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay, number 9's our bills, register of claims.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the register of claims for February 10, 2023 through March 2, 2023. For register of claims, hold on. For register of claims, R62848 through R62935 inclusive.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Soto Presley, seconded by Commissioner Talmadge. That's the register of claims dating February 10th, 2023 through March 2nd, 2023. Claims R62848 through claim R62935 inclusive. Is there any questions on these claims for staff? We have the great Karen Janica in the house, so.
I don't know why they're laughing, Karen.
I know.
She's great. I meant it.
I know that it wasn't funny. It's just true.
All right, then, roll call, Cynthia.
Talmadge.
Yes.
Soto Presley.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Myrick.
Yes.
Hopridge.
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. They seem to all be in order, so thank you. All right, number 10 is our reports. We have Ann Anderson tonight. Would you like to? She's the new executive director, so I don't know if you want to start off with anything or.
Thank you all. I really look forward to working with the commission every other week. I'm here in my office every day answering questions, so please feel free to reach out anytime. One update I have under reports is a wonderful annual event put on by our department, especially by Cynthia Rangel here, is our 37th Annual Disabilities Award Breakfast is coming up Thursday, March 30th at 8 a.m. at the Dynasty Banquets in Hammond. There are tickets available, and if you would like to attend, we just ask you call Cynthia at her office at 219-853-7311, and she can secure them for you at no charge. It's a wonderful event. We hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Juan Marino. Would you like to share anything tonight, or?
Juan Moreno is, our new Director of Economic Development.
Congratulations. Thank you. Looks like your son's being real good, too, so.
He's learning.
All right. Guess that concludes the reports then. I don't know if we have 1 or 2 items maybe tonight for number 11, new and unfinished business.
So you have 2 items, but it's really kind of 1A and 1B. The first one is a First Amendment to Development Agreement. This is the property and the project that is the Meets by Lintz project. The amendment extends the time for the developer to commence construction. They were kind of faced with, in late November, either a significant increase in their cost in trying to commence construction over the winter or kind of pushing back 5 months. And that's what this First Amendment to Development Agreement does. It starts, the project will start now in a couple of weeks. So that's section 1.1 is amended to have them commence by April 1st and completed no later than November 1 of 2024. I would just point out that this is approximately a $45 to $50 million project. So that's why the timeline is the way it is.
Time is sensitive, yeah.
So that would be the first item. And I'll answer any questions. I would prefer you kind of do these one at a time, so.
Okay, that was gonna be my question. Mr. President, if there's no further questions or discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve the First Amendment to the development agreement between the City of Hammond Redevelopment and Lentz Enterprises LLC.
Mr. President, I actually do have a question.
Okay, that's fine.
For Attorney Westland. Is this part of a TIF area?
It is.
It is. Which TIF is that? Do you know?
I get all the names jumbled.
I know.
I normally
Is
would
the- I
call
mean,
somebody
it's-
like you to answer that question for me.
It's not a significant delay in the timing, but is it going to have an impact to the TIF
I don't believe
revenue
it'll
that would
have,
impact any other debts within that area?
it will not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gray. Good question. So there is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that Commissioner Tomage? Second. All right, then we have a motion by Commissioner Myers, second by Commissioner Tomage. Can we have a recall then, please?
Talmadge,
Yes.
Soto Presley. Yes. Gray,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay.
The second item, same project, which is why I said it was 1B, is an intercreditor agreement, otherwise known as a subordination agreement. It was certainly contemplated that when we loaned the $617,000 in the forgivable loan, which was part of the incentive as the purchase for the land, and it's happened numerous times where then they come back with the construction lender, and the construction lender says, yeah, I don't want to be in priority behind the redevelopment commission. So what's interesting about this one is there's two lenders. The first one is lending $22 million, and then the second one is lending a similar amount. And when they proposed this intercreditor agreement to us, the staff directed, and I agreed and concurred, that we didn't want to be in third position behind 40-some million dollars, because if the project in the worst-case scenario didn't go, I guess would be the best way to put it, we would have to take out $45 million to secure our $617,000. This agreement, after negotiation, puts us in second position. So right smack dab in the middle of the first 22, then our 617,000, and then another 20+ million behind us. So you are going to be in the most secure position I think I've ever seen us in, because if this project doesn't go, that third priority lender will have to pay us off the 617 to realize anything on their 20-some million. So from a creditor risk standpoint, this is, of all the projects in the last almost 20 years, this is the best spot we've ever been in. Other than being first. If we were first, but that wasn't going to, we knew that there would be a construction lender.
So we're still in a very good spot to be in.
We are.
I feel that's a safety net spot, yeah. All right, thank you, Attorney Westland. Any questions for Attorney Westland?
Yes, I have one. How would you like the verbiage worded?
That you move to approve the intercreditor agreement.
So moved.
That worked too.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Myrick, seconded by Commissioner Tomage. Let's have a roll call.
Talmadge,
Yes.
Soto Presley.
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes.
And just for the record and clarity's sake, that first amendment to development agreement, because I see at least 2 interested folks in the audience, that document will be forwarded to the city council. So they'll get a chance to consider it as well.
Okay.
right, then, number 12 is just regular public comment. Public comment is open now. Public comment is open. Anybody like to come forward, you can speak for 3 minutes. If you have a Okay, then, public comment is closed. Public comment is closed.
Mr. President, before we adjourn, I'd just like to note that my Councilman Berry is here today from the 3rd District.
Yes,
Barry
it is.
Tyler.
Barry Tyler, welcome, 3rd District Councilman for the city of Hammond.
And with
Appreciate
that,
you coming out.
Is it worth mentioning the sectional title for Hammond Central, the first ever?
You may, yes.
Okay, I did.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Y'all signify by.
Aye.
Ayes have it, meeting is adjourned.
Those days, huh?